Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sonic Truth. And we have a special guest today with us, a former guest who was here a couple years ago, but he has returned, and that is Mr. Steve Chadie. Welcome, my man.
Yay!
How you doing? Am I supposed to be using my earbud microphone or the...
I think you're cool as is.
Yeah, you're good as is.
Yeah.
It's freaking me out. I'm only hearing my voice in my head. Not the usual voices, but, you know.
Yeah,
Not the usual voices.
Just comment below if you'd like Steve to use his earbuds, and then we won't address it till the next podcast.
Technology, man. Let me see.
Right.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, loud and clear.
Wow, okay. Whatever. I'll just blow that off and deal with it. Oh, I could take one of these out. Oh, that's so much better, man. Let me see if I can hear you. Are you talking? Man, don't
How's that?
fucking
Is
hear
that better for you?
Yeah, that's better, man.
No, we can't hear you.
Oh, well, that's not.
Now we can't hear shit.
Right.
Stop the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Well, then let me go back to where we were, and I'll.
Yeah, where you were was great before.
Like, where was that? There
Yeah.
it is.
All right. I'll quit
Sequel's
fucking
never
around,
as
man.
good.
No, it
It's
isn't.
not like I didn't have all morning to do this, but I'm just now doing it. All right, I'm ready.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, my friend. Long time. How you been?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we're staying busy, just like you. What you been up to since we last saw you at NAMM?
Yeah,
what you been
man.
doing since then?
You guys ruined me on airplanes. I could never go coach again, but I'm just kidding. I can't fit in any seat, but that one was amazing, man.
Were you
What have
stuck
I
in the
been
middle?
doing? I've been putting this place to some use, you know. This is my fun zone, but I actually started making money in here too, so go figure.
Hey, we like making some cashola.
Yeah, so that's quite the rack behind you there, Tower of Power. I know we featured it before on socials, but man.
Yeah, I keep adding to it. I got, that's the Opto is the first thing I bought. Yeah, I just keep buying stuff from you because it's good. It works. Unlike some companies.
Who could that be?
I'm not saying on air, but
Nope.
he knows.
My lips are sealed.
Hey,
Yeah. All we do is worry about what we do.
That's
Luckily,
pretty much it. So
That's the
I
way
got
to
those
be.
working anyways, but
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so I know last time we spoke a lot about like the different 76 revs, and recently you just got the DA3A in.
that thing's awesome, man.
It's a lot of fun. We're actually using one right
we're
now.
using it on our
Yeah.
vocals.
Yep,
Oh,
we'll get
all
some
right.
on our vocals or on our speaking.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely not vocals.
On our dialogue.
Nobody needs that.
I'm actually in the middle of a mix and had to find some inputs to Pro Tools, and it's amazing what you use, how many of those patch points you use on a external mix. I forgot about all that until I started doing it again. It's fun.
Yes. Now you have a Neve, right?
I do.
And then you were getting that installed, I believe, last time you were on the
Over there.
podcast.
Yep. I had it up at my house in Denton, but it was just 16 channels. I expanded it to 32, and I just keep buying gear, man. It's fun, I'm not doing this because it's convenient. I just like the way it sounds, and it's fun, just to interact with the, stuff, turn knobs, and I'm tired of dealing with a screen, man.
Yeah. Losing my eyesight from watching the screen so much.
Man, my eyes are not good.
Yeah. It's squinting all the time.
I should not be driving.
Oh, no, one of those, huh?
Yeah. I'll just try to keep it between the ditches and I'm good.
In between the lines.
Yep.
Now, you're located, you're in Texas, right?
Yeah, I'm in Cedar Park, which is just north of Austin. That's where there's a facility here there's a venue called Haute Spot, but Haute, and they bought a house next door, gutted it, and made a studio, and offered me a room. So my friend Charlie Kramsky's a head engineer here, and I'm just a guest. I come and go and disrupt things, and I put my stuff in here. We're tied to the stage, both the A and the B room. I guess I'm the B room. I like to think I'm the A room, but you know. Charlie's my bud, man. He keeps me humble, but we're just pretty cool, dude. The venue's 500 feet away. We're tied with fiber optic. We could do stage recordings in either control room. But you know, I just like to mix. If Charlie wants to do a stage recording, he can. He wants. If they want me to do it, Charlie helps. He just does the shit on the screen. I'm not a screen dude. I'll be slamming the faders on the screen, you know, wham. You do that, I'll pretend it's coming in here, and you know, it's all weird, man. The Dante stuff.
Yeah, it's a different experience, and yeah, it's of course, you know, purveyors of analog. That's just something that we fully endorse as a workflow, obviously, you know, and and you know, it's definitely, I think it's cool. It's just kind of like vinyl records. It's coming back. It's more in vogue to actually, hey, put your hands on some knobs and turn and figure out. You don't really learn how something works until you actually use the damn thing, you know. At the end of the day, I feel like that rings true, you know. One thing I wanted to say is your room down there. I think I was talking to Mark Daniel Nelson. I don't know if you were there, but at the same time he was there around one of the facilities you're working at. I think it was that one with the Tower of Power. He's like, yeah, I walked by and this room's just got all this audio skate gear.
I wasn't here when they did that show, but they always bring the green room is right on it's attached to the house. It's part of this. The other side of the house. It's 5,000 square feet. So the bands always come through, and yeah, they probably, I open my curtain when I'm not here so they can, you know, see all the lights and shit. The rest of the place is very formal. It's cool, man. It's a great studio. But when you walk in here, it's like opening that closet to Narnia, and it's like, you know, people come in here like, well, this is different. It's like, yep, that's the point. So,
yeah.
It's the Shroom Room, man, you know?
The Shroom Room.
It's happening.
Yeah, what did you have in front of your Neve there that look like some type of painting you have on the wall there? Or what is that? Is that a backdrop of some sort?
That's just shroom tapestries on the window.
Like it.
I got all kinds of shroom. I'm going to knock shit over, but I got just all kinds of shroomy stuff in here. I can't. I don't have enough cable. Hold on.
That's okay.
That's the window, but you know.
Oh, that's sweet.
Trying to keep it fun in here, man, you know. When you come in, you can get a little shroom sticker. There may or may not be shrooms around here for you to eat if you want. I don't know. You know, medicinal purposes only.
What's the name of your room? The Shroom Room?
You know. What's that?
What's the name of your studio? The Shroom Room?
Well, my room's called the Shroom Room. They call it the out of control room, but
I like the Shroom Room.
yeah, good. Shroom Room, man. Everything. I got shrooms and octopuses. I love octopuses for some reason. So I have a bunch of octopuses all shooting the finger. I like the middle finger too. That's it. Shrooms, octopi, and middle fingers, man. What more do you need?
Core food groups, right?
Yes.
Well, I named it that just to be funny, and it's kind of caught on, so I just kind of ran with it.
You know, and you touched on something there that's so key with this. It's got to be fun. You know, people like, you know, with the like that's one of the most important metrics for, you know, just kicking a piece of gear out the door. Is this fun to use? You know, like at the end of the day, that's really. It's an important component to everything, because if you're having a good time using it and doing that, then you know the end product's going to be better.
Oh, absolutely.
So. Yeah, and I mean I'm no hater of the box. I use it actually more extensively than I was letting on earlier, but I like to control things in there and then color them out here.
Yeah, but
it's definitely. I had a guy. I wanted to touch on this when you were. Speaking earlier, a lot of people are tactile. They need to. It's different if you're actually turning something or moving a fader. You're doing something. So this guy came down from Canada, Arthur Como, and he had a grant, and he stayed here a month. And dude, he just wanted to learn how to do stuff outside the computer. And he came down, and I mean, he caught on in like 3 or 4 days. And I just leave him in. I would leave him in here after he figured stuff out. I knew he wasn't going to blow anything up, and just periodically check on him. And he learned so fast, man. Smart guy, but I mean, just hands on. You know, I'd come in and he'd be doing something I would have never done. I'd go, wow, that's pretty cool. Or I'd be going, man, you don't want to do that. Here's what you do. I mean, in my humble opinion, you don't want to be doing that. You know? It was cool. He's coming back. I ended up, getting a friend out of it too. But I just think you're right. If people are touching an object and it's reacting, I mean, a mouse reacts to your, this thing on the screen, but it's not quite the same, man.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, people going from digital to analog with, like, say, an 1176, and they freak out about all buttons in, and the needle pegging, and it's
yep. Or 4 and 8, man. That's Charlie showed me that.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's a little different. It's pretty cool. I don't like definitely. That it whacks my meter out, though. I'm a meter freak. He'll come in here and change the unzero my meters and just to fuck with me, man.
That's nice.
Prankster, man. He's out of town. That. I'm trying to come up with a good prank, but I suck at pranks. He is the king of pranks, man.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's from coming into like somebody who worked in the box their entire career, to them 0 is the max, right? So how was his transition going into the analog domain, using the analog gear? And he noticed, was he going beyond 0? Does he understand that he can go beyond 0 without having distortion?
Yeah, because my meters are, I mean, I don't even look at them on the mixer. I used to, like with some mixers, you have to be careful of that because they'll fuzz out on you, but this thing's got headroom for days. I showed him, he had his own tracks, which were slammed, but I showed him stuff that was dumped from tape and how low the levels actually were. And I showed him stems. Like real stems, not tracks. I don't know when people started calling it individual track stems, but
yeah, I know.
Sometimes they refer to them as that. But I mean movie stems, TV stems, and how little your overhead, when you print it, how little you're using. You don't need all that signal. You know what I'm saying? If you ever looked at some stems and gone, man, that's all I'm using of that. That was eye-opening for him. So, It sounds different, too. It's I learned that working when I first got in Pro Tools. I slammed everything because you could, It's like, oh man, loud. And then I worked a lot with Andy Johns over the course of 14 years, and he was still living in the meter world. So I started listening, looking at the meters on Pro Tools and the mixer, and going, oh yeah, that's how it is off tape. We should just do it like that. You don't need to slam stuff.
Yeah, no, you don't.
I just got a track. I did some vocals with a really talented guy named Austin Mead. He's doing a feature because that's what people do now. And this track was just bricked out, man. I'm like, damn. It was I'm not gonna say unpleasant. It was a good track, but it was hard to listen to all day. It wasn't distorted. It was just like, damn, dude, why is this so loud, man?
Do you have any dynamics in it? Or is
Not
it just
really. Well, the dynamics
out?
were like everything drops out or boom, in your face again, Just I was like exhausted by the end of the day.
Listening to it. You're like, let's take a break.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this ain't the mix, dude. What's your mastering guy going to do?
Yeah, nothing. He'll send it back.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yes.
I just went to lunch with a bunch of mastering dudes. I don't know how I got invited to that. That's a different animal.
Now, let me ask you this for some of the viewers out there. How do you go about starting a mix? Do you have a preference? Do you start with the rhythm section? Do you start with vocals, or does it vary to the song?
It depends. If it's a live thing, I'll pull the vocal up and keep pulling it. But I mean, I like to build it from the bottom up. And then once I got everything up and tonally where I want it, I'll pull all the faders back down because you got those sounds individually,
Right.
It's still just the ingredients, not the whole pie, man. To go back to that pie thing I always talk about. I have a hard time looking at the pie and not the ingredients. So I get everything up the way I want it sounding and then pull the faders all the way down. And then, yeah, I'll bring the drums up real quick, and then I'll bring the bass, but I'll be left and right, back and forth, because I like to get everything up pretty fast and then start pulling things back. But it's not
good
like I
idea.
try to get the perfect drums and then the perfect bass, and then that's my tone getting process, if you will. And then I'll pull the fade. Oop, just like I pulled that out. I pull the faders back down. All right, yeah. So that's how I do it. I force myself not to look at the ingredients. I try to think of the whole mix.
Now, while you're doing that, are you at all paying attention to your master fader? Or are you cognitive of it, of where it's at while you're working on that?
I like to keep it all the way up.
Yeah, keep it at 0. I meant the meters. I'm sorry, the master fader meters.
Man, they're pretty slammed. It's just the nature of these meters, but not on the individual channels, but the master stereo buses. But
now,
every
what type
now
of
and then I'll
meters?
surprise myself, and I'll look over there, and they're just kind of floating around +2, +1. But I mean.
Now, what type of meters are on your Neve? Is it the plasma ones, or do you have VU meters?
They're analog VU meters.
Oh, nice.
It's the Rupert Neve Designs. Is it the 50?
5088.
Yep,
5088. Gotcha.
Yep. I like needles, not needles, but meters with needles. I don't like.
Yes, we don't like needles either.
I don't like needles, but I like meters that have a dye. You know what I'm saying, man? Not peak. Not even the analog plasma meters. That's
Plasma
what I'm
meters. Yeah.
SSLs had. I was just like, what? I don't like all that shit jumping around like that. I like it sideways.
I like it. Yeah, I remember when I first worked on a VR60, it was all plasma meters, and that was my first experience with the plasma meters, and wasn't really too much of a fan of them just because it's like a fucking light show going on.
It's a little distracting, man.
It is.
Which is funny because my whole room is distracting. There's something about that in time
Up
with
and
the
down.
music. I've had people ask me to turn certain lights off in here because they move and pulse and stuff. Can you turn that off? I'm like, yeah, okay.
You like the dancing lights?
Mm-hmm. Here, have a piece of chocolate. See what you think about that light in 10 minutes.
Right, yeah. It's Shroomalicious.
I'm kidding. I would never dose somebody like that. That's wrong, man.
Yeah, that's the
That's
worst.
not
Hey, by the
funny.
way, that chocolate you just ate, yeah, can make your mix sound a lot better in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. I actually don't even partake in that anymore. It's just kind of like everything. It gets boring after a while.
Right?
Like I was saying earlier, like everybody's picked up on this Shroom Room thing. My mom just got me a mushroom desk lamp. I was like, okay, that's a little weird, but cool.
It's good.
People like shrooms. Shrooms are kind of hip right now, I guess.
Okay.
Guess so.
As long as you're not going out to the cow patches, you're still good, right?
No, there's botanists and
You're right. Yeah, there's scientists now handling all that.
Yes, people I know. Yeah, I mean, when I put the room together, I may or may not have been taking a lot of mushrooms, but like everything, it gets old. Everything gets old to me except doing this, making records, or actually mixing records. Making them's kind of not as interesting to me anymore.
No, you don't enjoy the recording aspect of it as much?
I do enjoy it, but I don't enjoy the navigation of band dynamics. Wow, that was really correct. That's the most correct you'll ever hear. The navigation of band dynamics. I got to write that
Chapter 2, totally.
He could navigate. I guess that's part of getting old, man. You're just like, look, man, I ain't got time for this shit.
Just get to it.
I mean, I still turn it on if I'm tracking and someone wants to do X amount of takes, and I know it's going to shut them down if I might not let them tell you as many as they want, and I'll be encouraging, but inside I'm going, I really just want to mix this. You know? At night when no one's awake and the studio's empty.
Yeah, how does that work? So you say there's a venue connected to the studio as well?
It's
a
500. It's not physically connected. They're business-wise connected. The owner of the venue opened the studio up, hired Charlie. Charlie's aces, man. He's the only dude I'd ever have help me assist with Willie because he wouldn't fan out. He came up at Avatar, which was Power Station up in New York. He knows how to conduct himself in a proper manner in a real session, which nobody seems to know how to do that anymore. people come in here and on day 2 they're talking about, man, try this in the chorus and blah blah blah. It's like, man,
Damn.
oh yeah,
Day 2? Shit. Usually that's when you fire them, right? Kick them out of the studio.
I mean, I don't really deal with all that, man. You know, I work with Charlie. That's it.
Right. You just give the look to Charlie and be like,
Hey, Charlie, who's this dude, man? I remember I was working with Larry Greenhill. He was Willie's engineer when I first got there. I feel bad for this intern. He was doing that stuff. He was like talking, oh man, it's that the other thing. And Larry turns around, cool as a cucumber. He goes, there are 2 people in this room making decisions, and you're not one of them. He turned back around. I was like,
that's great.
and then I went, oh, I'm the other guy making decisions. And then I went, nah, he just said that. I'm not making any decisions. I could never say that to somebody like that. That's too cold, man.
Well, the kid
Anyway,
shut up after that?
Sidetrack. I'm the sidetrack king. Charlie started working here and building a place, running the place with the guys, and asked me if I wanted to have the room in here. I came down. It was literally full of brooms and construction stuff, and I was like, I think I could do this. So that's it. The guy who owns the venue, built it in the house 500 feet away, and then at the last minute, Charlie was like, man, we should be able to record from the stage. So dude did that. He's really invested. If he thinks it's a good idea, he'll put the dough out and bam. So that's where all the Dante and fiber optic stuff came in. That's where I just pass the ball over to Charlie.
Right, you handle this.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure I could deal with it if I had to, but anytime you're doing something with a mouse and a keyboard and a screen, you're not listening, or your capacity of listening is diminished. God.
Yeah. Ow.
Oh my God, I'm gonna pull my ear off here. Oh, that's good. All right. So I believe that. I got a hot corner on my screen where I just flip the mouse over and it goes to a screensaver. Because people are sitting there, the speakers will be over there. They're just looking at the screen, and when the thing crosses the editor, like, I hear it. So
Yeah.
I'll put the hot key on, the screensaver comes on. I'm like, you hear it now? And you don't hear it. Your eyes overcome your ears, overpower them. So
Yeah.
people are looking at music, and you shouldn't be doing that. You should be listening to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe that's actually diminished, a lot of the critical listening aspect of an audio engineer. They become more visual than anything.
Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
kind of defeats the purpose.
I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. I'll be geeking out on something, man. I was like, man, go in the lobby, come back in here and hit play, and don't look at the screen, man. And they're like, man, this is fine.
Yeah.
Just been needle fucking something for 2 hours, man. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how one mix engineer who's mixed off the screen their entire life, put them in the studio, the same song, but take that screen away. I'm curious to see to hear what the results would be like.
Yeah, like an A/B.
Like an A/B.
That's an interesting thing, man. You should do that.
Because you do find engineers nowadays, oh, look at that peak point. Oh, look at this. We got to take this transient out. It's too high. And it's like, did your ears tell you that? Or did you visually see that,
Trying to
assuming
make everything so perfect.
that it's going to be that way?
Yeah.
Right. Over editing stuff. It's like, man, you're not going to hear that in the track. What are you doing?
Right. I agreed 100%. So many times when you have a band, once you amass all the instruments together and you put it collectively, you unmute everything, you're not going to hear that little drumstick hit or that little foot that hit the cable or whatever it may be. To me, that add ambience to it.
Character, right?
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the right mistakes and making sure they're in there.
Yeah.
That's so key. Yeah.
Well, how it happened. I probably told you this story last time, but I was doing a session with Willie. I think someone came in the door or pencil dropped or something. I can't remember the exact thing. It was super easy. I took it out. They came in and listened. And I said, hey, I took that pencil or whatever it was, the door out. He goes, oh, well, let me hear it the other way. Played it. He goes, well, it sounds good both ways, but leave it that way. I was like, with the noise in? He goes, yeah, that's how it happened. I was like, oh, yeah, that's how it happened. Listen to all the old records you love, man. There's stuff all over there.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know, oh, totally.
Bad punches or splices that aren't quite right.
Oh, the bad punches you could hear all day long in the 80s, at least for me. After learning engineering and years on, you go back and listen to these records, you're like, oh shit, that's a bad edit. Oops. But it's still the number one record, so the consumer doesn't give a shit.
No, more than ever today. I mean,
oh God,
I do what I do for me, man. You know, and I found a small group of people that appreciate that, and I work with them. Like my main gig with this friend of Willie's is this band Titty Bingo. We use a radar and some some tube consoles, and I'll throw it over in the box to edit if I need to, or comp. But I don't look at a screen all day. It's groovy. It's cool to get away from that. I remember when I first got Pro Tools, I spent a year mixing a record, and it's just really good sounding record. But I was like, I go back and I'm like, man, it's not a year good, you know? It's just good. You know? It's because you can. You're like, oh, check all this shit out, man.
Yeah, I remember comping vocals when you would have, the 4 or 5 different takes up on the console.
Yeah.
And you would automate the different mutes and the volume gains.
Yeah.
Where now they're just taking, the graph of the waveform of everything and just kind of, and they still sound shitty.
Man.
They still can't get those edits right.
It changed everything. Like, it changed how I listened to music, and I had to untrain myself. Now if I go to listen to something for pleasure, I have to turn that part of my brain off. It made me aware, where before ignorance was bliss.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't turn it off. I'll be listening to like one of my favorite jams. I'm like, God, what's up with that snare? It's like, no, stop it.
Right, yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, this song's rad, man. Who cares? It's just
it's a blessing and a curse.
Yes, it is. So it's like seeing your favorite band in concert, and you're just sitting there. You find yourself the whole time like, damn, they should turn that bass up some more. It's not quite punching like it used to.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when your girlfriend's like, shut the fuck up. Just enjoy the show, will you? It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's why we're here.
I love that my girlfriend, she always says, well, I'm not a professional. I'm like, good. What do you think of this? And she'll say something like, well, the snare doesn't sound right. And I'm like, what do you mean right? I don't know. And I'm like, man, shut. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like 2 minutes later, I'm like, damn it, she's right.
Now you're listening to it.
Yeah, because my dumbass got the perfect snare sound in solo and then put it in, and it just didn't work, But I was like, but I know it's perfect. But it's not. It doesn't work in the pie. You just put a turd in the pie, dude.
That's a solo mode will do, man.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, you find too many people sitting there, micing the drum set, tuning the drum set, getting everything sounding right. Sounds great when the drummer's playing alone. But like you said, once you put all the ingredients into that pie, you may have wasted 3 to 4 hours getting that proper drum sound you were looking for.
I know. I noticed I did this drum off thing. I think that's part of growing is at least for me, it's not that I got faster. It's that I know the detail doesn't matter so much in the beginning. It's later on. So we did this cool thing where a drummer came in, and Charlie was in the A room, and he put his mics up, and I was in my room, and I put my mics up. The kit looked ridiculous. It had like double mics on it, and we had like so while he was playing the same, we were recording simultaneously. And the guys from R&D were videoing and going back and forth, winding us up so we'd talk shit. And it's just cool, man. Chris over at R&D is a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
I can't wait for that to come out, man. And then he brought each of us into the other guy's room, to vibe the dude out. It was like a reality TV show where they're creating stuff, But I thought that was cool. That's kind of like, sort of like your idea. I like your idea of the mix with the screen and the mix without
the mix without it. Yeah. Someone's got to do that.
Yeah.
But I got this, me and Charlie too, just real quick, man. You shouldn't spend 4 hours on drum sounds. I mean, unless you're having technical issues, sure.
Right.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It's just get the stuff in 80% zone. That's how I mix too. I'm not going to sit there and get that last 20% until I send something to the band. Because that 20%, you might have a different 20% in mind than they do. Get everything and go, all right, am I going down the right path? And you do it relatively quickly. And then you can focus on what I feel is like the more important part is, fine-tuning stuff. But don't spend a day fine-tuning stuff.
Okay,
Don't spend a day on the drums until you hear all the other stuff, man. Just throw it up. Get it going, man.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. One other point I want to bring up is the way you've acquired, at least especially all the Audioscape gear and that as well, it's very measured. It's not like you got everything all at once, and then there's this because every time you get a new piece in, you really want to take some time with it and get to know it. And that's sort of what's happened over the last few years. You've just sort of little by little just kept adding more and more Audioscape pieces. You're like, what this does and, to its max, and you sort of gain that knowledge, and now, sort of index those pieces, and now somebody comes in or you want to do a mix, exactly where you want to use them instead of just having everything all at once. I
really do, man. I have go-to stuff like I told you, the Fs on acoustic stringed instruments. I love those things. And now I'm at a point where I know what I want another one of, or another two of, or whatever, because I don't know, you run out. Believe it or not, when I say run out, there's not an appropriate piece for what I need. I've used, let's say you got 4 or 5 acoustic guitars. Well, I want more Fs. I've got other stuff to put them through, but you know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, all right, you could use one more of these and maybe 2 of those or whatever, I think on stuff a lot. You're right. I didn't just buy all of it. I had to know if I was going to like it, man.
Yeah. But that's it was, like I said, very measured. And I think that's something that, maybe isn't talked about enough, that, get to know things. Obviously most people don't have the budget to just splurge and buy everything all at once anyways. But still, sometimes you see that and it's like, hey, it's cool to just take your time, get to know all these different pieces as they come in. And that sort of doing it that way allows you to do that,
Yeah, and then you can focus on it. If you get a bunch of new stuff, I would be like, oh, what's that? Oh, this, I'd be distracted.
It's overkill.
Hey, it'd be scattered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like to compare. Like, I may get somebody that has another version of that and bring it over or something, or I might have another version of that. And 2 different versions of the same design may be better suited for different things. Obviously, I'm digging your gear. I got a ton of it, and it's not because, you guys are good looking, but not that good looking, man.
That's why we got to work. That's why we're sitting here in front of the gear, making the gear.
That's right.
It's
not good looking enough. That's our new slogan.
What's that? We're good
not
looking?
good looking not good looking enough.
That's the story of my life, man. It's good stuff, man. People are like, what's the deal with that? I'm like, I don't know. It sounds good. You don't have to sell your child to buy it.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes sense, man.
Yeah. Common sense approach to building and the parts and everything, and while that, is common sense in the sense that, hey, this is what they used. It's harder to build it that way and put the things in that they use, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to, put the hard work in. So the end result it's easy, instead of just trying to convince yourself that, we don't need to use carbon copper resistors because they don't matter unless it's a tube circuit or, whatever reasoning some people like to use. It's just, no, just put the stuff in, and then let it go and accept the fact that there's going to be a little bit of variance from unit to unit as well, because that's just the character of it. And, that's what we're looking for. So it's just, and then train a final QC department to know what's the right amount of flaws to let through, just like you guys do with the performances. It's the same
like
kind
tolerances.
of approach. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my tech was fixing something, and he started talking sort of like that, and I was like glazing over. But he explained to me that even with the tolerances, there's going to be all this variation between two pieces of gear, because I'm like, they're not exactly alike. He's like, they're not going to be, dude.
To common misconception is that like everything, well, because so people are used to plugins that everything is the same. Oh, I got that, and it sounds like that, and that's not the case. Especially when you're using like the accurate parts that were used back then. There is a variance and a swing, and you just accept that, and then you decide if this has gone too far in either direction, that's not passable, and that's once again more work. How do you decide like, oh, this is not fun to use. This is like, it's got too much distortion or too much, whatever that parameter is, or that variance, that occurs the most, for each unit, you have to decide that. And a lot of that's tube selection as well, but it's the same thing you're doing in a sense, as far as, selecting whatever for a mix or deciding, which flaws to keep, all that. It's very similar, obviously.
And I think, this just popped in my head. Those tolerance gaps probably make things more interesting. If you put a stereo source through two exact same things, it might not be as vibey as if one's a little up here and one's a little down there. You know what I'm saying? I've never really thought about that technically. Thank you for edifying me on that situation. That's cool though.
Yeah, we're in it every day, so we're living that. We're that's where we live. Like the headspace, we're like deciding with everything as far as what is passable, what is not, what's the best tube for this, what does this one unit need? Like there's some, like for instance, optos like you have back there, the first thing you bought, which is funny because when that was the first thing you bought, I didn't know who you, like I remember putting like the post-it notes on those optos because it was back then we were making them at the old shop.
Mm-hmm.
And but just treat everything, we treat everything really the same that's going out, as far as there's like, this thing kick ass, like, like the tube selection, sometimes it's more critical for the compression tubes and the opto than certain ones. They're good. You throw any tubes in them, they're just freaking awesome. But as far as like the crush on them, when you start using it like an asshole and you start diming it out and all that,
yeah, that's me. I like
because
doing that.
That's what people are going to do. A lot of people are going to do. They're going to just go and let's see what happens on max.
Crank
It's just the natural thing for a lot of people.
Right.
So the fact that it's still satisfying, not falling apart, is like one of the biggest parameters like we're looking for. So for some of them, they just I really prefer those black plate RCA 6AQ5s, and they make a huge difference, definitely in the snap. And I've noticed even a difference in like that HF, what we label the HF control, but it's really a limit sensitivity. Okay. I noticed a difference in the sweep on that, even with those tubes. So there's all these decisions that we have to make as far as what tubes are good for this one unit that's in front of us. We don't use obviously it's very much ear.
Yeah.
Not graphical things, nothing. It's just all. So training, making sure you have the right people, the right ear listening to that opto on that day is always important, for that.
Yeah, that's great, man. I appreciate that. I don't know how many people do, but I appreciate it because I don't have to think about that. I just have to plug something into it and go, man, let's try this. I got all your stuff on the Patchbay. It's scattered over here, but it's all right now. I just go bam, 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 bam. And again, Ray will be like, that one with the blue stripe thingy, that sounds good, or those black ones sounded good. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't going to use that, but maybe she's listening as a listener and not some nerd geeking out on which one sounds better.
Yeah.
You got to stay open, man. That's what I loved about Arthur being in here, the Canadian dude, because, I mean, you're going to keep making the same record over and over again if you don't do stuff. And it's kind of like, man, I know this works, but
we've all worked.
This thing. Yeah.
We've all been in situations in a recording studio where someone is like, they're so set in their ways and they're so like just going to their presets, and it seems like they're going through the motions. And I would literally get just physically angry
Yeah.
being in that environment with that person because they are not pushing the limits. They're not trying to do something great, and you're right. If you keep doing that, you start getting in those comfort zones. It's good to have go-tos and things like that, but when you could tell someone's clearly going through the motions, that's not an environment where you're wasting everybody's time, Yeah.
Definitely. And I totally understand trying to pay your mortgage and feed your kid and economics, and man, you got to bang all this stuff out. But I'm in a position now where, like I said, this is my fun zone, man. I may get here at 3 and not actually get something done till the light's not in the window. I might piddle around, go bother Charlie, fucker. I come in, put something up, go out. And then when I'm ready, I start messing around in here,
Yeah.
And man, thank God for that, because I've done the template thing where you got to bang this out, and cause you got this dude next week and this band's coming in. So I understand that, but I'm just glad I can come in here and be that asshole that you're talking about, turning knobs where they're not supposed to go. And say, oh, what's this dude, man?
That's awesome.
And it's a discipline to kick yourself out of the zone, man. It's like, what's your hurry, man? Why are you rushing through this? Try that thing that Ray wants you to try. Even though in your mind you're going, that's not the right thing for this. And then you plug in, you go, oh, shit, that's kind of groovy, man. So, I think I need another one.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep an open mind, because once you become closed-minded, like you said, with a specific way of doing things, that's when your sound becomes sterile, right? It's almost predictable at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a way to do anything that's going to last or matter. Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, then you start asking the question, what are we doing here? So that's, that's never a place we want to be. We always want to be, pushing the envelope and doing things like that. I did want to touch on this though. We talked about this the last time I think you're on the podcast, but this is not, I know you're talking a lot about this spot, but you're still bouncing around quite a bit too, aren't you?
Yeah, I did 3,800 miles in May, so I kind of slowed my roll after that. I got a house in Denton, which is north of Dallas, 30 miles. My sister's there, my mom's there. I went to school there. It's a badass music school there. Texas, when I was going, it was North Texas State University, but I don't know, everybody changes their name. University of North Texas now. Wow, what a big difference. But there's a lot of music there. You could go out on Sunday night and watch jazz till 2, 3 in the morning at clubs. Or 2 in the morning. I work down here, and now my stuff is here. Used to be I'd do my 10 or 12 days down in Austin, and I go home and do what I'm doing here. What I've learned in 2 years is the downside of moving all my stuff in here is when I'm home, I'm not around my stuff. So what I've done to try and remedy that is I either stay a week after my gig's done or I come a week before my gig's done. I don't go to my monthly, regular every month gig that I have with this band for another 8 days. I would never have done that before. I'd be like, man, I got to get out of Austin. Forget this place. I'm tired of it. But now I'm like, well, I'm going to go down a week. Sometimes I have stuff to do this week, but some days I don't have anything to do. And I'll just come in here and go, man, I think your workflow would be better if you did this. And, man, let's try that thing you were thinking about but didn't have time last time. I need to be in here piddling around, even if I'm not making music. I don't know what to do with myself if I'm not in a studio. I literally go hang out at studios in Denton or here or it was at my house, I am not a well-balanced man. I'm comfortable in a studio, around studio dudes, being stupid, acting like you're 20 and not 56,
Yes.
Telling stupid-ass jokes, that you still think are funny, but your daughter doesn't. No one else thinks it's funny. I want to be around the guys who think I'm funny. I want to be pranked. I want to come in here and go, who's been in my room fucking with who? All right, what did Charlie do? Jesus Christ.
He zeroed out a mix of yours you had up.
Yeah, we do have limits.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's what I mean. He was brought up proper. You know, you got your ass kicked out of the room if you did something stupid. You know,
Damn right.
you did. A lot of us were treated harshly. I wasn't particularly treated as harshly as some other people I know, but you didn't mess around. And if you wanted to know something, you went over to Patchbay and traced it when somebody was on break. And if you didn't understand it then you asked the question. You just didn't come in and go, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
I would go, all right, he's plugged into 9. 9's going over to that preamp and over to this compressor. Pretty much figure it out, you know. And that's what I was doing with Arthur. I was like, why don't you go over there and trace the cables and see what's going on. Fortunately he came in early and he got to see me mix a song and also do a show from the stage. So he got a baptism by fire that way. And before I pulled it, I showed him how to deal with it. I always use alternate colors on the Patchbay. I hate when people group by colors. And even out in the room on cables, because you can look across and then figure out what's going on from the room. But guys will come in and go, yeah, I grouped all the drums with red cables. I'm like, well, that sucks. I'm not going to know what's wrong. Like at Perdonalis, I can go, Tom, purple cable, it's plugged into 17. Let's go see if that, oh, yeah, that's the problem. But if they're all red, you got to go out there and chase them. So I teach little things like that to people. Like, I mean, it sounds stupid, but when you're in the thick of it, that shit matters. I don't need to be running out there, man. I need to just look. So trace your cables, man. Do it alternate colors. You can do it by eye. I can sit right here and tell you where I'm going with what because the colors. And I'm Mr. Magoo, dude. I can't see shit. I can see colors, man. I can see that much. So.
You can see colors in the Shroom Room.
There you go. There you go. There's a lot of colors in here.
No, that's a good advice though from a workflow standpoint, you know, because you could lose a lot of time going back and forth. Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest cons of analog and everything is just, you know, things can go down from time to time. Cables go bad, you know, all that. So like being prepared for when shit hits the fan, you know, and being able to effectively work through it. Yeah. It's excellent advice.
You know, a problem's got two ends to it, the beginning and the solution. And I'm inevitably going to start at the wrong end and go the long way to find it. But anything you could do to make that easier. In the computer, you don't know where the problem is, man. You're just like, holy shit, there's a million things in here. Usually rebooting the thing
works.
You know, like yesterday, dude came in here. We did some stuff, some finessing on the track. And then he went back in there and he was getting a double, like a phasing thing. I was like, I haven't done anything. I was like, let me restart this thing. Boom, gone. So that's just some ghost shit. You don't know what's going on, you know?
Yeah, that happens. That happens all the time. Yeah, we run DAWs, you know, just to test things out real quick, you know, and yeah, it's always something, you know, something stupid going on with either the interface or the,
Oh, yeah.
Clocking.
A lot of variables.
Yeah.
I always feel like an asshole if I spend 20 minutes on something and then I restart and it works. Because you're like, you should have just restarted, man.
From the beginning.
It's like, is it plugged in to the wall?
Right.
Why am I not getting power?
Yeah, tech support. I mean, they asked that question for a reason. Is the unit plugged in? Never mind. Clink.
Yeah, right.
I was.
It was something else. Click.
Yeah, They have an old school talkback, like the XLR's right on the console, and you plug. You know how Neves are, right?
Yeah.
So yesterday, we're starting. I'm talking to the guy through the talkback. I'm like, man, what the fuck was going on? No, I didn't have the mic plugged into the talkback. I was like, oh, yeah, you gotta have a mic if someone wants to hear you. Everything was patched right.
Just forgot about the mic itself.
I'm not seeing it, dude.
How long did that last?
What's that?
How many times were you hitting the talkback button until you realized it wasn't plugged
until
in?
I looked over, man. You know, I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, the mic's not in there. That's just getting old, you know. That's just. You know, Charlie was on location. He wasn't here yesterday. I rely heavily on Charlie, man. He's just cool and fun. And at first, I was like, I don't know if I want somebody doing everything for me. And then you get lazy, and you're like complacent. And then when dude's not there, like, shit, man, I got a whole ass
for myself.
Totally. Now what do I do?
And then you get out there and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this, man. I remember Andy Johns wanting to patch something one day. You know, I've been sitting around going, man, this dude worked on Hendrix Records at 19. He knew all this shit. Now he just sits there and has me do everything. I'm never going to be like that. And of course, I'm just like that now. Just like, Charlie! And so he wanted to patch something. And I was watching him, you know, struggle with it. And now I had these flashbacks. I miss that dude. Let's talk about him a lot because I miss him. Yeah. I'm like, you idiot. You're Andy all over again, man. The guy you said you'd never turn into. You're just like missing the hole. You're in the line in and not the mic in, you dick. That's why you're hearing it and it's not recording. You know, just stupid shit.
Yeah, it happens. It's, you know, sometimes interfaces reboot and you're not set to, like, the console's not set to line mode or it's in mic mode, and they're like, you get tech stuff and, you know, people are concerned. There's a lot of noise. It's like, well, yeah, you have a whole mic preamplification stage on top of it, you know, like, fuck, you know, but it happens, you know, and we've all been guilty of it, you know, and
oh yeah.
I mean, I've sat and troubleshot a piece of gear, like, so, you know, we test things, we turn them on for the very first time, like, oh, you know, and like, but there's something wrong with your setup, you know, so you're trying to trace down all these problems with this new device. And it's just something on the setup. And then, you know, you don't think that because you're just assuming that
everything's already ready.
Because you're so prone to, like, hey, I hope this thing I've just soldered doesn't just blow the fuck up right when I turn it on the first time. You know, so your mind is already like that. You're like Clark Griswold with the, you know,
with the lights.
Yeah. And then you turn it on and something's wrong, like with the signal, or you don't hear sound and you're going crazy. And it's just, you know, oh, wrong channel on the interface or some dumb shit, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's one thing I would appreciate when Charlie was assisting me on the Willie stuff, and I'd just gotten the 5088 out there, and I was like, fuck, man. Instead of going, you don't have the line button press, you just reach over and not say anything, not make you look like a complete idiot, you know. And then I'd get on the talk like, Charlie just unfucked what I was doing, Willie, because Willie's great, man. I was just like, man, you should fire me, dude. I'm fucking up in here. He goes, nah, we're not going to fire you. It's like, come on, man. It's like that kind of shit. I wish I could record my talk back sometimes because the banter, it's funny.
Oh, I bet that is.
What's that?
You should record that. I think that would be cool to have, you know, like just to listen back to, like, all the banter, like you're saying, back and forth.
Yeah, Willie, but would it be different if I knew it was being recorded, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
We'll just tell Charlie to record it for you.
Yeah, don't tell me. I have this, well, I have a DAT with, Dr. John came in to play on some stuff. This is, God, late 90s or something. And a guy in town, Derek O'Brien, killer guitar player, used to produce for Antones. He was having an exchange with Dr. John on the talkback, and I just have Dr. John's part. It was so, like, bizarre. I don't know, you know, if you can imagine with Dr. John, I was like, hit record on the DAT. It was at 32K, so I was just like, fuck, get a DAT and pay him. I was like, later I'm like, 32K, what the hell is that? So I know what Derek was saying, but I don't have it on the DAT. I just got Dr. John, so it's only good to me. I listen to it and I laugh my ass off. But, you know, everybody else is like, what's that mean? What's that mean? I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah. It's.
Yeah. They used to always.
Charlie's cool. He knows how to, you know, he doesn't front you out if you're fucking up. I'll front myself out, though, man. I'll be like, man, I'm sorry about that. I was doing this and Charlie fixed it. Because if you don't cop to shit, you're kind of a dick, man. You know?
Oh, shit. You know, that's one thing they used to do, at least from what I can recall. They used to always have the live tape rolling in the background in addition to the 2-inch.
Right.
Right? And I don't think that's such a common thing that they do nowadays, but that's something that should be implemented again because, like you said, all the banter and all the conversations that take place, to listen back on that years later.
Yeah.
You know, in itself, it's its own sitcom show sometimes.
It is. And yeah, it's, you know, important for posterity's sake too, you know, just to have that, you know, for all parties involved, you know.
I've got a lot of cool stuff, man. Just like the Los Lonely Boys and their in their artist management after the first record. I've got it's all kinds of stuff that's cool, man. I've got the fart files. I got tons of people farting. That's great. Hey, man, farts are funny. I don't care what you say.
Right. That's good.
That's great.
There's a Lonely Boys record, Rock Pongo. God, did it maybe 2014. And they just released, like, they would create in the studio. So I would just roll. I mean, you got Pro Tools, so it's not like you're rolling tape. And they ended up putting out 20 minutes of some hilarious interplay between the boys, these brothers, playing shit and then spoofing on it. Man, this sounds like this Huey Lewis song, and they'll bust into that, and then they'll just be more. Those guys are pretty incredible, and they're just the three of them. And that being invisible thing I talk about, you got to be invisible, and I just turn the lights off and roll. So they actually put it out. If you go to any stream and look up the Rock Pongo album, they have this 20 minutes. Like just
Wow.
recently released. Their manager calls like, "Do you still have those drives?" I'm like, "Yeah, I still have the drives. Whether they spin up or not is another question." But and I didn't know why he wanted them. I didn't ask. It's not my business. I gave them to him, and next thing I know, I'm listening to the Rock Pongo playlist, and bam, I'm like, "Holy shit!" There's that 20 minutes of bullshit. Them coming,
That's
and
awesome.
it's hilarious, man. So yeah,
That's great.
people should roll a 2-track all the time.
Yeah, they should. I mean, there was a lot of great stuff from there. I mean, when I first got into it, I was given a DAT tape of like all these different outtakes. It was like the Byrds, it was Casey Kasem, Kenny
That was
Rogers, like tons of these outtakes from the 2-tape just constantly rolling in the studio.
The Trogs.
Yes.
You heard the fucking 12-string.
It was like 90 minutes.
Split your
worth of shit.
hands. Split your hands. You have played it tonight. That shit is hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I got to see if I still had that DAT tape. But yeah, I was given to that as assistant engineer. It's like, here, you want to hear what goes on in the studio? Listen to this.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away. And it had some of the fart files on there too, which they
Yeah.
claimed was Kenny Rogers, but I don't know if it was him or not. But yeah,
Fart's a fart, man.
right?
Funny.
Yeah, you can't really identify that.
Who's
right?
that?
I mean, if you're recording it, you can. Sometimes it's in between verses and they think they're getting away with something.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, and the solo. And then rolling. And you have it soloed up later, you're like, damn. Or I've got some people just like going at the top of their range and it just blows out, man. It's just like, damn.
That pressure.
The condenser mic really picks a lot of shit up.
It really does.
Damn.
No pun intended. It picked that shit up.
This is the kind of shit. This is why I hang out in studios and with people like you, because you start saying this in public, people are like, who's this jackass, man?
Yeah. What's his problem?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I like me in this group of people I associate with. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I
want to be
wouldn't change
serious.
it
There's
either.
too much shit going on. I don't want to know, man.
Yep. Leave that out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my mom's like, you're part of the problem. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I tune in every now and then because you have to. And every time I'm like, well, that sucks. I'm doing the right thing, keeping tuned out, There are certain things you got to step up and do, when shit's wrong. But for the most part, I don't want to know. There's no good news. Good news doesn't sell.
No, it doesn't.
No. Nobody's like, hey, so-and-so, this is always like, oh, my God, this happened. This dude died. And this. It's just like, man, I want to know.
Block it out. Agreed. So what current projects are you working on now, Steve?
Well, I just did that thing for Austin Meade. There's a band in Austin called Madam Radar. They did some stuff from the stage early on, and they have a it's not their manager, but it's a dude who manages, and he managed a band I worked with in 1999, and he told them I was here and to come over. So how about that for a reference? 1999. So what's that? 2009, 2019,
25
20-something
years.
years later, he's remembering when he found out so working with them. What else? The titty bingo thing, of course.
That
Willie's-
titty bango?
Titty Bingo is a
Titty
vanity
Bingo.
band. I hate that term. It's a band, a boutique band, a guy out of Houston. He's the one that I use the radars and the tree consoles with no screen. And, man, you want to have to pay attention. Use a tube console, man. It's like, shit. Yeah, you can't dime it out like something else. You really have to, you can fuck up. That's great. I mean, I've been working with them 25 years. Willie came in May. I realized I didn't have, I'm going to show you this. I didn't have an autograph from Willie. It's going to be 30 years in October. So I go,
wow.
Hey, can I ask him for an autograph? I want to bug the guy. She's like, yeah, man. So check this out. Hold on a sec. Oh, come on, man. So I went up to him. I said, hey, Willie, I got a question I bet no one asked you. Have you ever been asked to sign Trigger? So he goes, what? I said, I got a mini Trigger here. And he signed it for me, which was really cool, man.
Hell yeah.
So he's only been, I haven't seen him since May. He's probably going to come back in pretty soon. What else, man? It's a guy off the internet. I mean, one of these people who's interested in the way I work wants me to mix something. So I'll probably start that when we're done. Stephen Williams is his name. I mean, just out of the blue, Actually, that's a cool story. He posted a story or whatever, and he's used Dave Aberzies on drums. Like my new song with Dave Aberzies on drums, the Pearl Jam drummer.
Yeah, that's the original
3 or
Pearl
4
Jam
years.
drummer.
Well, I know Dave from Dallas, like way before all that shit.
Really?
Working at the gas pipe head shop down on, Maple Ave. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen Dave in years. Tell him I said hi. And then he got back to me and wants me to mix something. So, I mean, social media works. You know. And what else? Marty Dredd, he's a guy I met through the Nelson family. Super nice dude. He flew in from Hawaii, and we did 5 songs. I still got another 5 or 6 to do. But, I mean, obviously you can't stay here that long. But, just cool, groovy stuff. Stuff like that.
Yo,
What's that?
Dave, in my opinion, was still the best Pearl Jam drummer.
I mean,
He's been around.
He's a badass, man.
Yeah.
He was in a band
Agreed.
before that when I was in Dallas called Segway. And they were pretty impressive with Daryl Phillips on bass. I mean, these are just, they're local dudes at this point, man. And Dave's an animal, man. I haven't seen him in 15 or 20 years, but that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is he doing? Is he still performing?
I think he lives outside of Dallas somewhere.
Really?
I'm not sure what he's doing, man, I mean, after 20 years, you feel kind of weird, especially after the fame, man. Do you want, hey, what's up, dude? I told this dude, give him my number. If he wants to call, he'll call. If not, he won't, man. I'm not going to bug a man, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
You kind of got your hands full with enough stuff anyways,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to reconnect with him, but God, how many people are bugging him, man? I know how many people that I went to school with that I didn't even like. That's why I got off Facebook. Like, hey, man, we're coming down. Remember this in high school? And I remember you were a dick in high school is what I remember, man. Now you want something. I'm like, what do they want? Tickets, studio. What do they want? They want something. It's inevitably the ask. I call it the ask. I'll tell Ray, I'll put the motherfucker on mute. I'll be like, this dude's got an ask coming. It might not be this call, but sooner or later, the ask is coming. And it always does, man. So John Selman is Willie's tour manager, and we just look at each other sometimes and go, it's never enough. No matter what the man gives, it's never enough. Somebody wants one more autograph, one more this, one more that. I don't ask him for autographs anymore. For other people. I never asked them for myself anyway, but everybody's got a dying relative that would really like to see an autograph, and I would wish I could accommodate everybody, but
That's too many people.
Right.
and it's just he would do it, but it's a breach of privacy, man. I don't like doing that stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. It should be safe place, you know, to go and create. It's not there for that. So definitely.
That's why I cleared it with Annie if I could. She goes, why are you? Yeah, of course. I'm like, well, you know, I just didn't want to take liberties. You know, I've only been here 29 and a half years. I mean, I don't want to overstep my powers or anything.
Right.
I know he'd do it. I just feel weird asking, man, even now, even for myself. I ask permission first. Can I ask him for an autograph?
Yeah, I've never been one. I never understood that. Of all the times I worked with, you know, celebrities per se in the studio, I never felt, I always respected their space. Even if you worked with them for one time or 100 times.
Right.
They're not there for that.
No.
Right. Whereas I've seen interns who weren't even assistants first day come up, can you ask him if he could sign this? And it's like, dude, that's not the way to go about doing it.
No, man. Are you here for signatures or are you here to make records, man?
Right. Yes.
You know?
So true. Especially
weird,
nowadays,
dude.
everybody's like,
oh, sorry, I can't hear. It cuts out. What were you
no, that's
saying?
fine. No, everybody now is like, can we take a selfie together? Here, can we take a selfie together? That's another one. It's just, I never understand
bragging
that.
rights.
Yeah.
I can't take a selfie to spare my life, man. Like if I'm like wanting to take one with somebody and, you know, these people have this grip.
Yeah.
Like Greg Bissonette he can start a movie and then switch over to a photo and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, how are you holding on to that thing and doing all that with one fucking hand? He's a drummer, I guess that's how. I drop my phone 10 times a day with two hands, man. You know, so I just don't even try. I'm that guy. Could you take a picture of us? Because I can't do that, you know. I'm impressed with Greg Bissonette's selfie capabilities. I mean, his drumming's great, but you got to see the guy take a selfie.
Oh, that was Greg that has the grip like that?
Yeah.
Bissonette? Yeah.
That is a stellar human being, man. And that's I'm very fortunate for that band, you know, the Titty Bingo thing. We rotate drummers and like Greg is a really good dude, man. It's hard to find people of that caliber that aren't guarded. It's not necessarily that they're not good people. They're just guarded, you know?
Yeah.
They got their, I'm in here with you working thing. But Greg make you feel like you've known him 20 years, you know? Hi, Greg. Good dude. He won't ever see this.
We'll send it to him.
We'll just send him that clip.
Yeah.
He's great. He doesn't text. He does the talk thing, right? You know, like where you talk a text to somebody, not dictation, but you get an audio file.
Yep.
And he's so positive, dude. If I'm feeling blue sometimes, I'm like, I'm going to go listen to this thing from Greg. Just whatever. Hey, man, how's it going? You're like, wow. I wish I could buy that positivity and enthusiasm off the shelf because I just don't have it.
I have it down at Save a Lot. That's funny.
Oh, man.
Good deal. Well, is there anything else that you want to discuss while you're here with us today?
Man, I'm sure I'll think of something, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to let people know I like to mix things that aren't major label things. I'll record your band. I don't have to work with people that, I mean, people have this idea that I'm not accessible or something. I mean, that sounds weird saying, and I didn't really realize it till this place opened. But people think I'm locked down or that I don't want to mess with that. I love working with bands that aren't signed or whatever. It's like the pro ball, college ball thing. The college ball is a little more interesting because they were wanting it.
Yes.
Pro guys, they're just trying not to get hurt, you know, make that $1 or $3 million or whatever the hell they get paid. I don't know. But I like college ball bands, man.
That's a great analogy to look at it that way.
Yeah, reach out, man. We'll figure something out.
And they can find you where? On Instagram, right?
Instagram, that's it. I can't really, I mean, it's hard. It's hard enough. I can't do the other stuff. I just Facebook and all that, man. I even look at my Instagram and go, man, that's lame, dude. You're posting the same shit, but people are liking it. And I'm just like, all right, I'll just keep doing it. I just try to be a smart ass or be myself, you know, see the humor and stuff that's not funny until if you look at it this way, it's a little ironic, isn't it? Or whatever, you know?
So Steve's open for business, basically.
Yes, Steve is open for business.
Yeah. And, you know.
Just don't ask him for concert tickets or autographs.
That's right.
from Willie, at least. I mean, come on, man.
He's like, if you want mine, I can hook mine up for you.
Steve will give you his autograph.
I'll autograph whatever you want. If you want to devalue it.
If you want to
I've got your
devalue
autograph.
Yes.
Did you actually write that, or is that a stamp?
No, I wrote that. Yeah, dude, everything.
Damn. You have some good penmanship, man.
Oh, I was the first time I've ever heard that.
He's been practicing that at night, hours on end.
I'll tell you this: when we cleared out the vaults, put all the tapes in storage or whatever, vault storage or whatever. I was looking at all my documentation or whatever from '95 on, and all that I had great writing, cursive or print. You could read it, and then this got in the 2000s, got a little chicken scratchy, and then now I can fucking barely write, man. I'm like, that's the phone, that's the computer.
That is the computer.
Oh my God! I try to write something out, and oops, what happened there? I know my hand just went over here. It's abysmal, dude. They don't even teach cursive in school. You hand a kid something in cursive, a lot of them can't even read it.
Yeah.
Which I find odd.
That is extremely odd.
Yeah, they're not
especially
teaching
with how
cursive.
we came up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked the teacher about that, and they said it was not the word wasn't unnecessary, but some kind of word like that, skill, like an antiquated or unnecessary skill. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Pads of paper don't crash. I still say that. Like, if I need to make sure something doesn't get lost, I write it on a piece of paper, a stickies note. I stick it on my door, and then I get used to it being on my door, so the night before I make it crooked, and my OCD kicks in, and I'm like, what's that crooked shit? And I go, oh, damn, I got to do this today, man. Because you get used to everything. My reminders go off all day long. I'm like, yeah, I'll look at that later. Yeah, fuck it.
Yep.
And then tonight I'll be like, oh, shit. It's useless. You just get used to it. But if you have a piece of paper on your keys or on your blood pressure medicine, that's some old man shit. Something you have to do every day, I'll stick a stickiness note on there and I fucking see it.
Make sure it happens.
So,
that's a good point.
What's that?
That's a good point, because I'm the same way with my reminders. You just hear them ding, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then at
old
the end of the
thing. I'll
day-
fucking look at that later. It's like,
Yes.
oh, missed that. That's going to cost me $30. Doctor appointment or some shit. I love I love clipping my keys on shit. Like, I don't want to leave something. I clip my keys to it, and I'll get out to the truck and go, oh, fuck, where are my keys? And they'll go, damn, you almost left that. You needed that, and you're on your way to Denton, you dumbass. Good thing you clipped it to your keys. Because when you live 240 miles apart in your two dwellings, and you leave some shit, you're screwed.
Yeah.
It's
not
happened.
going around the block.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Damn.
Was there anything else?
Is that a good closing point, or is that lame?
I think that's a good. Yeah, I think that's a good closing point.
Yeah, that's a good closing point.
Yeah. Dementia warning, right?
That's right.
That's what my kids always say to me. Dementia warning.
Dementia warning.
Whenever I forget something.
Just click your keys onto it.
Oh my God, the discussions I find myself in with people nowadays, like, man, my this, that, and the other thing's hurt, and it's like, I'm like, man, you old fucking. I'm not even that old. I'm 56, but if it's this bad at 56, what am I going to be like at 75 if I make it?
Right.
My daughter's like, you are turning into your dad, bro. You look like him, you walk like him, you lean on shit because your knees hurt like him. You're turning into your dad. I'm like, shut up.
It's like that commercial on TV now. It's like you're turning into your parents.
Those are great, man.
Aren't they great?
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah.
I like the one with LL Cool J. Okay,
Yes.
turn around. LL, oh, there he did it. That's not how you take a selfie. Yeah, those are well done, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I
on
mean,
that
it's
note,
always
my
a
man.
pleasure talking to you guys. I'm going to be needing, air quotes, some more stuff, but let me get square with PayPal first.
We'll be here for you.
We're always
And I
here
wanna-
for you, Steve. Anything you need.
I do want to say I also appreciate the shit out of R&D. You two are my favorite companies. I know that's probably, you can edit that out if you have to, but those guys are as fucking great as you guys.
No, they're
are,
awesome.
man.
We were just next to them at Super Booth in Berlin. Awesome.
Okay.
And it was, that same console. I got to see them assemble it all right there next to us. And
nice.
dude,
They're good.
Chris and Josh are there. Great dudes. Yeah. It was nice to meet them.
Was Jonathan Pines there? Jonathan? He got me at NAMM, man. I walk up to the fucking booth, and I don't want to put the headphones on this particular piece of gear, and I'm like, nah, man, I don't want to do it. He popped them on, and now I have one, and I want another one, and I want some more of your stuff. It's just like, man, I don't need to go to NAMM. That's like sending a junkie into a heroin factory or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to but I'm going back.
Dude, yeah, it was so awesome having you at the last NAMM, and that was you did summer NAMM before, but you could see the difference between winter and summer. It's a whole different vibe, and different, I mean,
Yep.
I love them both, but yeah, winter NAMM was it's just overkill, especially if you go in like the guitar hall or the drum area. It's just like
I saw
cacophony
so
of
many
sound.
people I didn't expect to see, band members, just people just like coming out of the woodwork. I'm like, oh my God, my fucking neighbor, I ran into him at NAMM. I didn't even know he was going. He's a backline guy. And I'm like, is that Alfonso? I was like, what are you doing here? It's like, I have the backline company. I'm like, oh, of course. How's that? I live next to the guy and I didn't know he was going to be. Okay.
Haven't seen him in months. Ran into him at NAMM.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I got my steps in at NAMM. My pedometer was like 14,000. I'm like, damn, I could eat another hamburger, man. God, what the hell? Fucking trailer, the crack trailer's right outside the hotel, blowing that shit at the door. So you walk out, you're like, that smells good. Yeah, some good trucks, man. So, they got that down there, blasted that shit into the lobby. Come here, first
smart
hamburger's
marketing.
free.
That's great marketing right there.
Yeah, we really enjoyed having you at NAMM and having you come out, and I'm that was just the last show was great, for us as well, just because we had the a bunch of stuff we were displaying and still some stuff we yet to release. I think
The dam was up in a box, like
that
video was
secret.
great. Andy's like, damn, man, you guys, I appreciate you guys at Neve, man. You hooked me up during NAMM. It was fucking great.
No, it was awesome. It was our pleasure, Steve, and it was our pleasure having you on the show too. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For
Make me
taking the
sound
time.
smart, man. I always feel stupid when I do these like blah, 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 diarrhea of the
man.
mouth.
Nah.
Man.
No, it was truly an honor having you on, and
Yes.
like I think there's definitely some great tips and things like that, and I think sometimes people get too uptight, and that's not what you are, and I think that's the way to be.
I try
honestly.
not. I mean, I don't really see myself. I'm just a dude who makes records, man. I freak out when
Just
people
calling
come
it
up
how
to
it
me.
is,
Yeah.
man. Fuck.
What's that?
Just calling it as it is.
Yeah, calling it as it is. And that's what, a lot of times people need to hear, because there's so much flooded information out there, and a lot of it isn't calling it as it is.
No.
So that's what you're going to get. When people listen to this podcast, that's what they're going to get from
Yes.
Steve. They're going to learn about the fart files. They're
The
going to
fart
learn.
files, that's some real
Yes.
shit. I know a bunch of
Yeah.
engineers have that. You just got to
Yeah.
wait. The book's going to come out sooner or later. I just got to find someone to write it for me. I'm not doing that.
That's
Oh,
great.
man, this is awesome. I haven't laughed this much in a while. So
Well,
Yeah.
thanks
Good to
again,
see
my
you.
man.
Yeah.
I
Great to see you,
appreciate it.
Steve.
And try to stay cool down in Texas, brother.
Oh
Yeah.
man, you could hang meat in this control room. I got someone coming tonight to some aspiring engineer, which I still like doing that. Okay, come on up. It's a young lady. There's more and more women in the business, which I think's cool, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, I gotta be careful not to hashtag me too myself, because I fucking have no filter. But I told her, bring a coat. You're gonna be cold in here. If you're a chick, you're gonna be cold in here. Ray wears a parka in here. I'm like, I'm sweating balls over here. How are you wearing a parka, man? So I'm cool. I'll just wait for the sun to go down so I can start working.
Working. Word. We like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Other people's AC is much colder than your own. It's a fact.
What do you have it rocking at, like 60?
Yeah. I share the thermostat with Charlie, and it's the wars. I'll go in there. Put it down.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Who's up and down?
I'm
up
like,
and down.
dude, I'm like two of you, man. I've got double heat going on here, man. Crank it down.
Oh, that's good.
That's enough of my dumb ass, man.
Oh, love you, Steve.
Awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank
Thank
you, brother.
you, brother.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Hell yeah, dude.
All
Same.
right, take it easy.